Hello, and thank you for watching our video on career counseling and training. My name is Nikki, and I'm part of a statewide training team with a partnership for people with disabilities that is located at Virginia Commonwealth University. You're watching this video today because the Virginia Department of Aging and Rehabilitative Services, also known as DARS, asked us to develop this training for you about your right to work for something called minimum wage. Watching this video is your first step. Your second step will be to meet with us about what you've learned so that we can discuss your options and sign off on a form that is required as part of the training. The video won't take long, so let's get started. We're going to listen to a woman named Barbara describe what she likes about working at a job in the community.
Employment is important for people with intellectual and developmental disabilities because they have the rights to work out there and making good money, and there are people like everyone else. You know, we can't let them down, because they need to work out there and getting a competitive, good pay and good benefits, and working, like learning how to do different things out there, because there's a lot that they can learn out there in the out in the community there.
Barbara indicates many reasons why she likes her job. There are a lot of reasons why people work. They need to make money to pay bills or buy food and clothing. They get to meet new people and have fun. Maybe you have your own reasons for working. There are differences between Barbara's job and your job. Barbara makes at least $7.25 an hour, and she has coworkers who don't have disabilities. She also has retirement and health insurance to pay for things like medications and doctor's appointments. If she's sick, she can take a day off of work and still get paid. Barbara can also go on a vacation and get paid while she's enjoying some time away from work. There are several things that we're going to talk about during this video. The first thing is work choices. Secondly, we will talk about laws and wages. And finally, we will discuss what it means to speak up for yourself. Each year, we give information to everyone across Virginia who is working for less than minimum wage. If you're watching this video, it is because you make less than minimum wage. That's why you're here. Let's take a look at some pictures of people doing different jobs in the community. Sometimes it's easier to understand a job when you see images, like a photo. We'll look at a few examples of some different jobs where people work with others without disabilities. This is Trevor. He works at Biddy and Beau's coffee shop. He prepares and serves hot and cold drinks, and he also cleans work areas, utensils, and equipment. This is Gregory. He works in the office at a local library. He uses the computer to make flyers about library events, schedules, meetings at the library, and organizes library files. And finally, this is Laura. She works at Kroger grocery store. She gathers carts from the parking lot, bags customers' groceries, cleans, and restocks items on the shelves. Maybe one or a couple of these jobs interested you. Perhaps you liked one of those jobs better than the others. You might be thinking about the kind of job that you'd like to have someday. If you want to talk about future jobs, you will get an opportunity to meet with someone one-on-one after the video. The one-on-one meeting is the second part of the career counseling and training. This is a picture of a woman named Jane. Let's listen as she tells us about her job at Midwest Special Services.
I work at a place called MSS. It's Midwest Special Services, and we go out on mobile jobs, mobile crews, and we go in different places, and we do cleaning for different places. We like vacuum and sweep and dust and mop and stuff like that with a job coach. And sometimes we'll get some work in-house at the job site. But otherwise, we just go out and work out in the community at different places. What I like most about my job is meeting different people and doing different jobs on the work crew, and different job coaches that come with you and different people. I would like to either be working like with kids, maybe like, school kids age somewhere, or work in a library, and otherwise I'm not quite sure.
We know that Jane likes a lot of things about her job. She likes meeting different people, working different jobs, and she works with a job coach. When you work at a job where people without disabilities work and where people without disabilities shop, you're more included in the community. When you work with a job coach, it helps you to be successful at doing your job. Some of you may have been told by others that you can't have a particular job because of your disability. Maybe you were told you couldn't be a policeman because you would have to go to college first. Or maybe you were told you can't be a cashier at a grocery store because you sometimes have trouble with math and counting money. You do have a job here, so we know that you can work. But if you'd like to work at a job in the community with people without disabilities and make more money, we will talk about some resources that helped people like Laura, Trevor, Brenda, Gregory, and Jane reach that same goal. Now I'm going to talk about laws. A law is a rule that everyone has to follow. Laws are enforced by our government and police. Some examples of a law are speed limits on the roads. If we drive too fast, a police officer might pull us over and give us a ticket because we broke that law. Another law is that you have to be 18 years old to vote in an election. The places that we work also have to obey laws. They're called employment laws, and they protect you, the worker. For example, some of these laws stop you from being discriminated against because you are a woman or because you have a disability. These work laws make sure that you're healthy and safe. And these laws set a minimum wage to pay you for work. There are 2 employment laws that I'm going to tell you about today. The first one is the Fair Labor Standards Act. This law makes sure that employers pay their employees minimum wage. Remember, that is $7.25 an hour. But this law also gives some businesses the okay to pay people less than $7.25 an hour. Today, we are meeting in the place where you work. This is an example of a business that has been given the okay to pay you less than minimum wage. The next law that we're going to talk about is the Workforce Innovation and Opportunities Act. This law says that your employer who pays you less than minimum wage must make sure that you get to meet with someone like us every year to talk about different job options. This is also called career counseling. We want to make sure that you understand you have a choice about where you work. If you're happy here, that's fine. But remember Barbara and Jane? They had jobs in the community with coworkers without disabilities, and they got paid a lot more money for every hour they worked. You might want that opportunity as well. You don't have to decide that right now. You might need to think about it for a while. It's a very big decision, but we're here to tell you that you have the right to have a job just like Barbara and Jane. Earlier in the video, I mentioned an agency called DARS, or the Department of Rehabilitative Services. They are the agency in Virginia that helps people with disabilities look for jobs. They have job coaches who help people learn how to do their job. Remember, you can talk to DARS if you need help finding a job. I'm going to show you pictures of 3 different people. All 3 of these people have disabilities and work at a sheltered workshop. They all have the same job. They help to weave blankets. They all work about 8 hours a day, but there's one big difference. At the end of each day, the amount of money they take home differs. The first person makes $10 a day. The second person makes $24 a day. And the third person makes $64 a day. Those 3 amounts are very different, but the jobs are the same. We all spend money on things we need, like food, a cell phone bill, or a place to live. We also spend money on things we enjoy, like movies, games, and vacations. Here are 3 very common things that many of us spend money on. If you want to buy a CD with songs from your favorite singer, it may cost about $10. If you want to go bowling, it will probably cost about $15. And if you live in an apartment, you need to pay money each month for your electricity bill. We need electricity for things like lights and watching television. An electricity bill may cost about $60. Remember this person? At the end of the day, he makes $10. The only thing he would be able to pay for would be a CD of his favorite singer. If he wanted to go bowling, he would have to work at least 2 days in a row to have enough money. And if he lived in an apartment and had an electricity bill, he would have to work for several weeks in order to afford the bill. Okay, so we've looked at some pictures of people working different jobs. We talked a little bit about money and what the minimum wage is in Virginia. Now we're going to talk about self-advocacy. Self-advocacy is speaking up for yourself and the things you may need or want. You can speak up for yourself at your job. You can tell other people what type of job you want to do. For instance, you could tell others if you like to work with children or with animals. Maybe you like to work outside. The great thing is it's up to you, but you must speak up and tell someone about the type of job that you want so that they can help you. It's important that you tell others what you need in order to do a good job at work. Maybe you need help understanding all of the steps for your job. If you're a work assistant at an office, first, you have to clock in. Next, you have to start your computer. Then, you may have to read your emails. After reading your emails, you have to check all of the copiers and fax machines to make sure they have enough paper. You may have to ask for help from your job coach or your supervisor or boss to understand the directions. They won't know that you need help unless you ask. You also have rights while you're working. Some of your rights include asking for things to help you do your job and having a work schedule ahead of time. It's important for you to ask what your rights are and ask for them to be explained to you so that you can fully understand. Some examples of self-advocacy might be when there are emergencies at work. An example might be when the weather's bad. It may be dangerous for you to come to work. You might need to speak up to tell your boss that you feel unsafe traveling in heavy snow. Or maybe your boss has told you that there's not enough work and he has to make a decision about who will continue to work and who will lose their job. You need to speak up and tell your boss how valuable you are as an employee. You show up to work and you work hard every day. Another example of self-advocacy might mean talking to your boss about a raise. It would be really important to tell your boss why you think you need a raise. You want them to know that you're a good worker, that you show up on time, and you work hard. You deserve it. If your boss does not agree with you about your raise, you need to ask him what you can do to improve your work skills. So if you want a different job, there are people who can help. Your family, your parents, your brother, your sister, and your grandparents. They can all help. You can talk to your friends. Friends are great about encouraging you to find your perfect job. Your counselor at the Department for Aging and Rehabilitative Services is a person who can help. If you have a case manager or support coordinator at the Community Services Board, they know what to do. Your support staff can help you get started. Your supervisor and your boss can advocate with you. If you want to look for another job or even try out another job while you still work here, that's okay. People do it all the time. They explore other jobs while they still work at their current job. That's being a good self-advocate. Congratulations! You've completed the video. Now that we're finished, you will have a chance to meet with someone one-on-one to talk about if you want to look for a different job where you would make at least minimum wage $7.25 an hour. If you decide you want to learn more about looking for a different job, we can help you figure out next steps. Remember, it's your decision if you want to learn more. When we meet, you will sign a form that will let us know about your decision.